Hey everybody, this is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I wanted to show you what I did in preparation to fly with the FT Aviator. I wanted to make sure that there weren't any big software updates, etc., and that everything would connect correctly. So I did that in my house before I left. As it turned out, I did, once I got in the field, I did have to do a software update, firmware update on the Phantom 4, but we got that done and got it off flying. But hey, I just want to let you know what you're going to see first here, and then you'll see the introduction to the regular part of the video. Hey guys, Marcus Crawford here. Hey, I'm getting ready to try out the FT Aviator flight controller, and one of the things I wanted to do after reading the quick start guide and the online manual, it says that there could be updates and so forth for the FT Aviator and for the app. So I thought I would do a dry run of just connecting it all here and see how it all connects before I get out in the field. So I've got the Phantom 4 without the props on it, the controller, and I'm hooked up to the controller with a lightning cable, and I have the FT Aviator. And one of the things that I'll mention is nowhere in the manual does it say what mode the Phantom 4 needs to be in for the FT Aviator to work. I'm going to make the assumption that it needs to be in P mode because that's what it was for all the rest of the DJI products. So I have the controller in P mode, and hopefully that's something that they can update in the manual. I'm sure that's just an oversight. Every other drone was listed, but the Phantom 4. So the Phantom 4 is going to be in P mode here, and I believe that to be correct. So the first thing we're going to do is fire up the Phantom 4, and obviously I don't have any props on it. I'm inside the house. So we've got the Phantom 4 and the controller, the DJI controller, fired up. I have a green light on the controller, so that means we're connected. So let's fire up for the first time the FT Aviator app. Wants me to sign up. So hey, okay, so that put me in. Hopefully I remember my password. Anyway, so I am going to now I've got the app going. I'm going to hang on, I'm going to double check here. Let's see if we can get that app back up here, and let's turn on the controller. And I'm seeing the lights on the top of the controller go off. So as you will see on the screen here, it looks like we have I've got a blinking green light on the controller, or on the Fluidity controller, that is. So I assume that means a connection, and I see the Bluetooth between the smartphone. Well, I see the connection between the smartphone, yeah, and the app. So I guess I need one more, and that's click to connect here. Would you like to search for a device to connect to? Yeah, heck yeah, I would. Searching. Okay, so there we are. So we have all the connections. We have Bluetooth from the FT Aviator to the app, and then we have from the mobile device to the DJI controller. We have the USB connection, lightning cable, and then we have a connection from the DJI controller to the Phantom 4. So we should be able to go fly here. So I'm clicking on go fly. So we are going to allow. Must be in P mode, so that's good. It tells you, yeah. So I am in P mode. In an emergency, toggle the flight mode switch on your DJI radio to exit FT Aviator control. So now I read in the manual that what you do is you go up to S mode, back to P mode. Yeah, so this looks good, and I don't see any anything here that would stop me from flying once I get out into the field. So let's see, I know, so if I click on the little icon on the screen that looks like the FT Aviator, that should take me into, yeah, so the button on the side of the FT Aviator, I want it to control the camera up and down. Oh, so camera sensitivity. Yeah, so hold it. I need to hit. Okay, so camera 90 is what I'm going to do for that one. And then camera sensitivity, I'm not exact. I presume that means how much, how quickly it will tilt. So we're going to leave that on 2. And those appear to be the only settings that I have. In the manual there were many more settings, so maybe it's just different for the Phantom 4. I do not know. But I'm going to see if I can. Yeah, so I can move the camera up and down with the controller. That's working fine. And then let's try the button that I just changed. Yeah, so that moved at 90 degrees. And you'll see there, even though I have the phone in Do Not Disturb, I still get notifications. But I don't know, not much we can do about that. It doesn't appear to affect the app. Yeah, so looks to me like we're ready to go. So now as far as return to home and so forth, I thought that that's where I would set those parameters at. Now I already have them set in the Go 4 app, so I would hope that those carry over, but I can't say for sure. So this is the camera menu over here. I'm going to try the FT Aviator button again. Yeah, I just have those two controls for the custom button and the camera sensitivity, so we're going to leave that alone. Let's see here. Yeah, this takes me back to this screen, and let's go back into, I don't know, let's check the other top one here. Yeah, that's just log out and support. So go fly again. Yeah, so it's I do not see a spot here to change the return to home height. I was assuming that it would be in the menu. So I am it's probably something I'll try out in the field, because that's pretty critical. But I hope it'll be the same as the Go 4 app. So one of the other things that I've noticed here is that obviously you just have you've got camera controls and just regular obviously manual flight. There's no automated flight modes or anything like that available to you. So if you're going to do anything in an automated flight mode, a waypoint mission or anything like that, you're going to have to use the DJI controller in the Go 4 app. Gosh, I'm going to click at the top here and see what that brings up. Oh, there we go. So that brings me the menu. And that, I have to tell you, I looked at the manual. I don't remember seeing that. So we got the maximum flight altitude is correct, and distance. So this is all the same as what it is in the DJI app. Vision sensors normal. So this is where you can format the card. Heck, we might as well go ahead and do that now. I clicked format and nothing happened that I can tell. So overall status, it says ready. But there's nothing here for changing the return to home height that I can see. But it does report that our drone is ready to go. And like I said, when I clicked format to format the card, it doesn't appear to do anything. So that I can see. If it's doing it in the background, I have no way of knowing that. Anyway, there we are. Nothing to do now but to take it out in the field and fly it. I'm going to do that right now. Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel here. A shout out to drone enthusiasts everywhere, and as always, a shout out to my friends at the Drone Seekers, the friendliest drone group on the web by far. Hey, today we, as promised, I've got the FT Aviator flight controller that we're going to try out with the Phantom 4. I know there's been a lot published on this already, and people have some pretty strong feelings about it that I've seen in comments, etc. I want to emphasize that this is just my experience with it. I am not making any commentary on anybody else's videos or experience with it or anything. I'm just going to show you what my experience is. I actually ordered this oh gosh, a good 3 or 4 months ago on pre-order, and it finally came in. I had the good fortune to be able to speak with Scott Parazinski when I was a guest on Bill the Drone Reviewer's show. So that's just telling you what I know about it so far. And today, in preparation, obviously I've been reading the online manual as well as the quick start guide. So what we're going to do first, I think, is I'm going to use the DJI Go 4 app and the controller in normal mode, and we're going to kind of get a baseline. And we'll just do some very simple maneuvers, and we'll see how it flies. And that way we can compare that to what we see with the FT Aviator. So give me just a second here. I'm going to get my iPhone on here and get the DJI Go 4 app fired up, and I'll turn the camera around so you can see the drone, and we'll go from there. Hey, what I forgot to mention earlier in that introduction is I do have a little table set up here. I am not going to hang this around my neck. For this first flight, I just didn't want to have all that weight, and I kind of want to see how it works too. So I've got a table that I'm going to set the remote on when I use the FT Aviator, and a chair there or whatever I need, and kind of in the shade so I can make sure that I can see the screen on the iPhone well, etc. Just wanted to add that in. In any case, let's go ahead and let me get a screen recording started, and we'll get the Go 4 app booted up and we'll fly here. And when you know it, we've got a firmware update for the Phantom 4. I'm going to see if I can ignore it for this time. It never fails when you're out doing a test. Yeah, so let's see. We have one red triangle. Aircraft requires an update. Gosh, against my better judgment, I'm going to hit the update here. Let's see how quick. No, it's asking me to connect. Turn on the remote controller before updating firmware. Connect your aircraft with your mobile device using the cable. Well, okay, I'm going to shut off the video. I'm going to see if I can get that done here real quick. Okay guys, I'm going to reboot everything since we did the update there. Okay guys, so we went through the update process with the Phantom 4. I've got that on the screen recording. I'll show you part of that, but obviously not going to make you sit through the whole thing. But anyway, let's see if we can take it up. And yeah, it looks like everything's ready to go according to the screen here. No issues. IMU is normal, compass is normal, we're good to go. Okie dokie. So I'm going to stand off to the side here so you guys can see what's going on. So what we're going to do is just do some very simple maneuvers just to get an idea of the difference between the FT Aviator and the regular control. So I'm going to go ahead and hit takeoff on the Go4 app. Go ahead and start video here. So the aircraft looks pretty stable. We'll do a quick yaw around here. So there's a yaw. Then I'm going to back it up just a little. So we're going to reverse. And I'm going to roll to my left. And then to my right. Pretty smooth. Let's back it up just a little bit more. We're getting a little bit of obstacle avoidance on the screen here, so we want to get that out of the way. So yeah, I mean, you can see that. Let's do the roll. Pretty smooth, pretty good. And then let's raise some altitude. Very smooth, that's good. Lower altitude, very smooth. Again. So let's bring it back forward. We'll get some warnings here for collision detection, but obstacle avoidance. We'll bring it in here a little bit. Very smooth again. And let's back it up. Again, very smooth. Okay, let's just do a little droney. So I'm going to go up and back. Bring the camera back down here a little bit. Okay, so we're far enough away. Let's do a return to home and test the return to home. And I did that on the controller itself. So it is ascending to altitude. I'm just going to set the controller down here. I moved the camera on the drone down so we can see how accurate it lands. Well, it looks like we're a little bit off, but let's see as it gets closer. We know that these DJI drones get pretty darn close. Yeah, I flipped the camera up at the last minute there, so it's just right on the edge of the pad. So anyway, let's quit messing around. I'm going to shut off recording. we'll shut everything down. I'll hook up the FT Aviator and we'll just try some simple maneuvers. Okay, we'll get fired back up here. I've got the FT Aviator hooked up. Hopefully you can see that on the we got the GoPro going over there. And I've got it just sitting on my little TV tray there. And then I'm going to fire up the drone now, fire up the controller, do a screen recording, fire up the app, fire up the FT Aviator itself, and we'll see how we do. Okay, fired up the FT Aviator app right now, and now the FT Aviator itself. And I'm getting a little doodad on the screen there. Yeah, my screen, yeah, there it goes. It was upside down. It's showing everything connected, and it's showing go fly. So yeah, let's take it up in the air. I won't lie, I'm a little bit nervous. It is, so it's a little bit awkward the way you have to hold this thing. So if I'm holding it like that, then it kind of rests on my arm, I guess. I don't know. Let's just give it a shot here first. So we're gonna hit go fly. And you know, there again, it looks very much like the Go 4 app. So I'm going to start recording on the drone. Recording is started, and yeah, everything looks good here. Let's take off. So I'm doing that on the app. Well, you know what? I can do it on the controller itself too. So I'm gonna do it on the controller here, and it asked me to say take off. Motor's on. You know, honestly, just like with the Go 4 app, seems to be pretty steady. Okay, let's do a yaw around, just like we did. Yeah, so very similar. There you can see me there with the controller. And I have it set in the #1 in the turtle mode. So yeah, let's turn it back around here. So let's back it up a little. So that's a little bit awkward, although very smooth. What I'm saying by awkward, it's how I'm having to hold the FT Aviator, for me, is just a little awkward. So one of the cool things is the situational awareness. The first thing I'm noticing is on the top of the FT Aviator here. And as I turn it around, you can see it tells me which way the drone is pointed. I almost wish I had a hat cam or something so you guys could see this. I'm tempted to move my camera behind me here. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. We're going to leave it hover for a second. So we're going to move this camera behind me so that you can see what I'm doing with the controller. So what I was trying to point out earlier, I got to be careful because of this cord, is the situational awareness there. And there again, you saw me holding it with just the joystick, and that's a mistake. So you can see this for me is just a little bit awkward. So I don't know. We'll see here. But let's quit. We need to do some more testing. So we're going to go left. So that's the one thing that others have mentioned was a little more difficult. And I'm going to be honest with you, it seems very smooth to me. So I'm going to go, since I have the drone facing me, I need to move the joystick to my right, but the drone will go left, full on. Now the other direction. I gotta be honest with you, I cannot tell the difference between that and the Go4 app. I just can't. So let me pull the trigger and see if I can raise a little altitude. Now that felt a little abrupt to me. I will say I didn't have my thumb in the holder, so that makes a difference. And I do have it in just in rabbit mode, so backing up, going forward. I gotta be honest with you guys, as far as control goes, it feels, I don't feel like I'm in any different control than I am with the regular DJI controller. I know there were reports of it being a little bit juddery and not as smooth, and I'm just telling you what I see. I don't feel that. I'm not doubting that others did. I'm just saying what my experience is. So I'm going to gain a little altitude here, and we got some people playing disc golf. I'm going to turn up the speed too. We're in turtle mode. I'm going to put it up to 3. I think, yeah, that's a little better. That's more about what I'm used to. And let's try tilting the camera down. So we got the camera tilted down here. I'm going to get out of the, I've got the graph on the screen here. I'm going to get out of that. That's kind of obscuring my view. I'm sure you can move that around, but just for this case, I'm not really that worried about it. So let's go. We're going to go back and up. And so let's test return to home before we go any further. So I'm gonna hit return to home. You can either do it here or here on the remote. So I'm gonna do it on the remote. And return to home and land. I'm gonna confirm. So the aircraft looks to me like it's going to the return to home altitude that I had set on it with the Go4 app. And it's coming back to us real quick here. Let's try that. I had the and that's a jet you're hearing, it's way above us. I'm going to hit the user set button on the side. That should drop the camera down 90 degrees. I'm going to press it now. Yeah, there we go. So it's coming down. Well, we got a big breeze that just came up here. One thing about having a powerful drone like the Phantom 4. It looks like we're going to hit it pretty close. So I'm going to pick the camera back up. With the button, it should pick it right back up. And the drone, I guess, I don't know if that's part of the Go4 app, but it is not landing. Let's see, I'm going to hit the land button on the screen here. So it asks you to confirm landing, so that's good. You know, so here's what I'm going to say. Is some of those issues that others have talked about with the difference in control. I didn't see it, so I'm not arguing with what somebody else saw, but it sure seemed to be very similar to me. So let's take off again, and one of the things I want to try is they talk about how easy it is to do figure 8 maneuvers and so forth. So let's take it up and give that a shot. So I set the drone right in the middle of the landing pad again, and yeah, so nothing's changed. The other thing I'll say is it doesn't tell, well, as soon as I take off, I'm sure it'll tell me how many minutes of battery we have, and so we have some kind of there's a 0 with a slash. You'll see it on the screen here, and I'm not sure what that is. Through the remote control, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and try and take off, and we're going to do it on the screen this time. Yeah, there we go. That's just because it was on the ground. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get some altitude. Yeah, so it is definitely a little different. Try dropping altitude. Yeah, so that seems pretty darn normal to me. Yeah, I've got the tilt set pretty on a fairly low speed, but that's very smooth. So let me I'm going to get some altitude here, and I'm going to see if I can do a circle. Yeah, so it's that, I mean, I can be honest with you, I'm not feeling like it's as intuitive to me as the regular controller, although I don't have a lot of experience with it yet, so. Get a little altitude. Let's fly towards the cell tower here. Let's see if I can do, when I hear an aircraft, I want to get eyes on him before I get too carried away. Yeah, he's way away from us. So I'm going to see if I can. Yeah, I'm trying to do a circle. What I wanted to do was do a circle around the tower here. So if I go this way, so I don't know if that's any different than when I'm using the regular controller. I have probably just as good a luck I'm going to put it down into turtle mode. Whoop. So that's turtle mode. That was a pretty quick yaw. Let's try that again. Yeah, that's a lot easier for me in turtle mode, although you see I'm overshooting it. I'm trying to keep that tower in the center of the screen. Not having a lot of luck. Okay, so we are in low battery warning here, so we better bring it back home. So we're going to hit return to home on the screen here on the app. And it's ascending to altitude. Well, I do like you can see which way the aircraft is pointed at all times. That is pretty handy. Let's see where we're at here. Yeah, looks like we're in pretty good shape. So I put that user programmable button to do that. We'll watch it come down here. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit off. Let me pick the camera back up. Oh man, we were folks, we were smack dab in the middle of the H. That's pretty good. That's DJI technology. Okay, let me get everything shut down, and then we'll do just a real quick conclusion. Well, you know me, it may not be real quick, but we'll do a conclusion. Hey, okay guys, so we did the first flight with the FT Aviator, and so it worked pretty good. Obviously I didn't try out all the functions. We started out with a baseline using the DJI controller and Go4 app, and then I tried it again with this. With regard to the smoothness of control and how the drone operated, I could tell no difference. It was just as smooth and just as easy to operate with this as it was with the DJI controller. So that seems to me to be something that is not a concern. And I had it in turtle mode, then I turned it up. The fastest I had it was in 3. Probably one of the things that I noticed right off the hand is it took me a while to get comfortable holding this thing, and I'm not sure it just feels a little bit awkward to me. You're trying to look down, and as opposed to, I don't know, I just didn't feel as comfortable with it. Now obviously it's the first time I've used it, so maybe if you use it more you're going to get obviously more comfortable with it. But as far as the controls themselves, man, this gimbal control is awesome. It was very smooth, very easy to work. I always felt in control of the drone. I will say that as far as being intuitive, and I'm a gamer guy and I'm used to joysticks, it took me a little bit to try. You saw me trying to do some circles and so forth, and I didn't do any better with this than I would have done with the DJI controller. I can say that just as a matter of fact. Now, it's the first time I've used it, so take that into consideration. I haven't had a lot of, quote, stick time, right? So yeah, the other thing about it is, and other people have spoken about that, it is another piece of gear you got to take with you. So that's a little bit clumsy too. But what's really great is the situational awareness that this little guy brings you. You know right where your drone is pointed and what direction it is and so forth. So, you know, if you were, there's no way that you would, if you lost sight of your drone, that you would not be able to tell right where it was at just by looking at the top of that. So that's huge. That's a big deal. We tried the takeoff button here. We tried the return to home button here. They both worked great. I started recording on the app. I did not use these buttons, but I have no reason to think that they wouldn't work. Everything else did. So, you know, from that perspective, I can give it a good report. For me personally, the jury is still out as to whether I will use this every day as opposed to just picking up my DJI controller and using it. I'm sure that if you started, you know, if you had started out with this, you would probably not want the 2 sticks, but obviously we've all started with 2 sticks. I think the next time I use it, I'm going to mount it on a tripod. I think that would make it probably less awkward for me. Absolutely, is this an advantage for somebody that has a disability and only can use one arm? Absolutely. You all of a sudden then can fly a drone. So that's a big deal. But I'm going to keep messing around with it, and I enjoyed using it, and like I said, it was very smooth. The only thing I'll say is in the manual, Scott, if you're listening to that, the manual says nothing about the Phantom 4. So I made the assumptions that the P mode and S mode and all that were the same for the Phantom 4 as they were the other drones that are in the manual there. But so you might get that fixed in the manual. I didn't think about it. I should have tried switching control over to the DJI controller, and there's 2 ways to do that. You can do it on the app. You can see right down there, there's a little pictogram of this, and there's a little pictogram of a controller. So you can select either one while you're flying. So then also, for instance, if the app froze up or something like that, on your DJI controller, sorry, here I wanted to pick it up so I could show you. So on your DJI controller, you're in P mode, so you would switch it over to S mode and then back to P mode, and that would give you control on this controller again. So, you know, you could hit return to home or whatever in a pinch to get your drone back, or if you know you could see it, you could just fly it back. You know, whether you could, if you did that, and then in the meantime simply shut down the FT Aviator and fire up the Go4 app. I don't know why that wouldn't work, but I don't know if it does either. So, but you know, you probably, I don't know why you'd necessarily have a need to that. What you would do in a situation like that is you just would simply hit return to home. But anyway, gosh, I know I'll think of something as soon as I sign off. But it's interesting. It's something that I definitely want to mess around with again. Am I coming away from this saying, oh, holy cow, that's the only way I'm going to fly a drone ever again? Nope, I'm not. So I guess what I'm going to say for me personally, and I'm just talking about for me, you might pick that up and go wow and just feel right at home on it. I'm going to, I would probably continue to use both depending on the situation. Oh, the other thing that I didn't mention is if you're ever going to use any of the automated features with your drone, waypoints, etc., any of those, and quite frankly, I've said to you guys before, I'm not the best pilot. I mean, I can do it, but I'm not as good as a lot of you guys. And so I use those circle modes and some of those things in dronies. It really helps me, you know, get some better shots. So I use those quite a bit. So that's something that I kind of wish you still had on there. As far as cross coupling, I do understand how it is. You're not going to get any cross coupling with that. When you're pulling back on that joystick and it's backing up, the only way you're going to get an inadvertent yaw is if you twist that joystick, and you would know it if you were. So that's, I should have mentioned that earlier. That is definitely an advantage of the FD Aviator. In any case, I'm going to get more practice with it, and I'll fly it some more, and we'll see how it goes, and of course I'll show it to you guys. So gosh, I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out, and I hope you enjoyed this video on the FD Aviator controller. And you know, if you like my channel, please subscribe and hit that bell notification. But most of all, I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and we'll see you on the next one.